Greetings everybody, Kaiwaza with you. Welcome back to my channel. Have a seat. And today we're going to continue showing my Hawaiian record collection, one record at a time. The last video we started on the letter K, so let's continue with that. But first, a brief update on a new purchase on a letter that we've already covered. So, I just got this one a little while ago. Something like Kertas ke Yoran, I think, Volume 5, Strings That Cry, Antonio Fuentes, and his Hawaiian guitar. This is a Colombian steel guitar artist. And, well, this is Volume 5. I think I have all the other 4, and then there are other ones too, of which I have a couple of them. He did Tono Fuentes in Colombia, Tono Fuentes in Venezuela, Mexico, which I don't have. I've ordered it and it's broken in shipment, and Ecuador, which I don't have. So there may be other ones, but I know of those. But he just takes Latin American songs, popular songs and folk songs, and plays them on steel guitar. But it is like an ensemble. There is a harp, which is quite lovely, organ. So sometimes the steel guitar is a little less prominent than others on some albums, but this one I find as from volume 1 through 5, as the volumes get higher, I like it better. This one is really nice. So yeah, that's Antonio Fuentes. Who knew, right? Hawaiian steel guitar in Colombia. Alright, now on to the letter K. This is the Kahalewai Maui style. Now Kahalewai is a family act. And you can see all of them here on the back also. I think, if I'm understanding this right, originally it was just like mom and dad and a small group that used to play, what's it say here? They performed at the Old Biltmore Hotel, Queen Surf, King Kamehameha Hotel in Kona, and other major neighbor island spots. And then the father was solo at Kuhio Hotel's Taro Patch Lounge. And eventually they moved to Maui, Maui Hilton, Maui Surf, Royal Lahaina, Maui Sheraton, and Ka'anapali beach hotels, where as a family apparently they are performing, or were performing and recording. This is the only album I know from them, and I don't know the date, but it's pretty obviously. You look at these amazing white shoes, white slacks, and matching aloha shirts that I'm willing to bet maybe are polyester, although they may be cotton. I don't know. This is definitely 70s or 80s. And a nice album, nice harmonies from them. Cute album. Now we come up to, for me personally, a very significant artist. She was part of the Hawaii Calls, Webley Edwards Hawaii Calls Orchestra and Chorus, and she performed on the Hawaii Calls radio programs and was also featured on many of the Hawaii Calls albums, which we've already covered under the letter H. Her name is, popularly kind of just known as Haunani, and sometimes just recording under that. Her actual name is Haunani Kahalewai, her last name, and she was known as the female baritone voice. Really, really a wonderful voice, and it is baritone. She was kind of singled out along with Alfred Apaka for doing some solo recording while Capitol Records was handling all of Hawaii Calls recordings. So both she and Alfred Apaka started doing solo albums under Capitol Records while they were still doing Hawaii Calls Orchestra. I'll just show you, this is her picture here when she started out. Very regal woman, very professionally very regal. I understand in personal life she had quite a rascal streak in her. It was quite funny, but her professional image is very regal, Very beautiful voice, and very much to me, you see her in all of her photographs, and you kind of harken back to Hawaiian royalty. I would say Liliuokalani and some of the royal court in the monarchy days. She just has that bearing, and her voice is so beautiful. I can't tell you how much I love her voice. This, I believe, is the first solo album she did, Tradewind Islands, romantic island songs, and you see they're just billing her as Haunani. Faraway Places, Hawaiian Wedding Song, Isa Lei, a beautiful version of Ku'ule Poina Ole, just a beautiful album. Tradewind Island was covered by other artists. This is another one. I'm not sure if I'm getting these in the right order of their release, but on Capitol, Haunani, Hawaii's favorite singing voice. You can see here the sort of royal bearing, right? And when you hear her voice, I suspect when I do some samples, you will love her also. And if you don't have any of her albums and you're into Hawaiian music, I really suggest you go out there and look. There's very little on CD. I think in Japan they did, somewhere in Japan there was like a collection of songs from these recordings. But I don't think anything in the United States was ever done on CD with her. So vinyl is final on this one. Some Enchanted Evening, Hawaiian War Chant, Hawaii Pono'i, which was the national anthem and the state song, My Isle of Golden Dreams, beautiful classic songs, wonderful voice. I love this record too. Moon of the Southern Seas, again, Haunani. This one is kind of a nod to the South Seas as well. There are some Tahitian songs, Tangi Tahiti, Moonlight and Shadows on the exotic side, Bali High. Really nice. Here we see another picture of her again. Then she switches over to Decca Records at some point. Haunani, the voice of Hawaii, recorded live at the Royal Hawaiian Hotel, where she performed for a while. Pearly Shells, I'll weave a lay of stars for you. South Sea Island Magic. This was an unusual album here, called From Hawaii with Love, sung by Haunani. Yeah, in fact, now that I'm looking at them, they don't use her name Kahalewai anywhere. He says just Haunani. But now these are all well-known English language Hawaiian songs on this record, like what's on here? Beyond the Reef, Sweet Leilani, Pagan Love Song, Ebb Tide. What's unusual here is that they wrote Hawaiian language lyrics for all these songs that are generally performed, or always performed in English. They're English language songs. And there are Hawaiian language versions she's done here of Lovely Hula Hands and Blue Hawaii and My Tane, and it's interesting. Some songs work better than others. It's always kind of difficult when you do this, and Hawaiian language is very poetic, so you're sort of interpreting, it's not going to be necessarily an exact translation of a lyric, but a more poetic one. But anyway, it's quite interesting, for nothing else, if for that reason. And now that I think of it, this one has been put out on CD somewhere. This one's I've seen on CD. And the last two, I think, were recorded at the same time. Obviously, the picture here was taken at the same time, same beach, same lays and flower and whatever. Aloha from Haunani and Island Spotlight on Haunani. This was one of the first solo ones I ever had for her, and I actually got it, if I'm not mistaken, when I was on a trip to New York City, when I was living in South Carolina with my college drama group. We went to New York City and we had a free day. And what did I do on my free day when I was in New York City? I went record shopping. Yeah, I did. And I also went to the Miss Universe offices, which were in New York at the time. Like, all the things you can do in New York, and I went record shopping. But that's what I would do today, for sure, if I went. And I got this record. Now I've replaced it. Since then, the Beauty Hula, Hawaii. She does write songs on most of the Decca albums. She has one or two songs that she has written on them as well. And then Island Spotlight, Tiny Bubbles, One Paddle, Two Paddle, Old Plantation, Hawaiian Fiesta, which she wrote. A nice version of Makalapua. And I should say also, when you get these records, mine now are all Decca. Some of them were reissued later on MCA records, and when they were reissued, a lot of times on most of these records they leave a track or two off. So it's been a gradual process for me to go back and get the original Decca recordings that have the additional couple of songs on them, because I want them. I want the whole thing, you know. So that's been a bit of a process, but I have gotten as I was saying, I have gotten the original on all of those. So I'm going to shut up now and play some samples for some of these records so you can hear the other artists and the really beautiful voice of Haunani Kahalewai.
Brightest hues of the rainbow were there. Trade when I my pagan paradise. Someone is waiting beneath your skies of blue. Under the blanket of night comes the call of Tahiti and you. Soft as an angel's wing, voices begin to sing, and I'm remembering Tahiti and our love.
So what do you think? Put some comments below if you are kind of impressed with her or not. But I think her voice was absolutely wonderful, beautiful. She died kind of young, I think. I could be wrong on this, but this is kind of just coming from my memory. And I did hear, when I used to work at KCCN, Nina Kale-Iva Hamana, there was a show with her who was also a performer of Hawaii Calls, and she talked a bit about Haunani Kahalewai and said how she was actually a very funny person, although her recordings are very regal and everything. She was quite funny, and she really, really wanted to be famous. She really wanted it very much, and that she retired in California. She was living in California when she passed away, and I don't think she was very old, if I'm recalling, maybe in her late 50s. I could be wrong, but I don't think she was really, really old when she passed away. But love Haunani Kahalewai, and her music just lives on, and I will listen to it forever. I love her voice. Alright, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.